Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of Oxygen Not Included. In the previous episode we have finished our sleetweed farm. Right now I'm just waiting for the first sleetweed to actually finish growing so we can plant a couple more. You have to excuse my voice, I'm totally broken right now, but aside from that, let's get started. There were actually a few comments concerned about this line right here. Eventually this might actually get too cold. I don't think it's gonna be a problem as soon as we have multiple plants, but just with one plant we might not actually transfer enough through those pipes in order to keep them above the 0 degrees mark, and it could end up damaging the pipes. So that is definitely something I'm gonna observe. If it does break the pipes, we just have to leave them down below and that would be solved. My declared goal for today's episode is going to be to lower the frame rate. Right now it is just crazy, it is not a lot of fun to scroll around. So I want to make sure this gets better by actually picking up most of the items. The way we're gonna do that is with temporary auto sweepers, loaders and conveyor rails. Maybe let's set up the rails first. We are gonna go down the pipe right here and all we want is to go into our main storage. Actually, where is our main storage? That is right here. So that's where I want to end up. Let's move this over here and then all the way up right there. We are then gonna build a whole bunch of auto sweepers made out of the cheapest material possible, lead in this case. And we wanna make sure we cover as much ground as possible. So something like that is gonna do the trick. Then all we want is a couple of conveyor loaders, also made out of lead. And I guess we're just gonna place one of those beneath each auto sweeper. Naturally, everything needs to be hooked up to the grid, so let's go ahead and accomplish that. We're then gonna go back into the conveyor rails and finish this like so. That should technically work out. Hopefully I don't have to lead these around the output slots. Actually, just to be sure, I'm gonna have these rails beneath everything, so that should work out a little bit better. Okay, I guess at this point we can unpause and we're gonna do the very same thing on the other side. I wanna pick up all of these, all of those, etc. I'm not 100% sure what this is gonna do to our power situation. It's certainly gonna be demanding in the beginning. A couple of conveyor loaders, I mean, these also take some power, yeah. Hopefully my network isn't gonna overload. Right now I have way more potential power than actually required to overload the network. But certainly I do not want to waste any time. Let's hook everything up and get it all built. Naturally, before I forget, you also need to be hooked up to the rails. So that's gonna be one big building job. One more thing I would imagine we need is a conveyor chute right there, and everything should be fine. Let's get this started. Unpause, dupes go to work. Wait, are you serious? We still have atmosphere here. No! Okay, this is actually really disappointing. So I have to build these auto sweepers out of a different material. This is actually incredibly disappointing. Can I just replace those? No. Okay. But it looks as though, at least for the part that's right here, I'm gonna need to build them out of steel. My bad. There's gonna be a few things that I'm still picking up by hand, of course, where it's convenient and there are not too many items. Like right here, this is not necessarily better to pick up with an auto sweeper. Conveyor loaders can also overheat. I'm gonna be right back. It looks like I have to set up the conveyor loaders as well, but that's gonna be easy. Just pick up everything. Copy settings, get to work already. Wait, do we already have a completed mission? Alright, that's what I'm talking about. One of my hydrogen rocket is already returning. Space mission complete, hooray! Give me heat, give me everything. Who is the lucky guy? Oh, lucky gal, it's Bubbles. Welcome back. With plenty of materials. Wait, did I just destroy a gantry? Yeah, of course, this was completely out in the open. Sure. I mean, I definitely have the steel to waste. Now, just to be sure I can actually keep up with my power needs, I'm gonna enable my last two geothermal generators, which still have a long ways to go to actually cool everything down. Holy cow, this was lasting for a while. By the way, since we're down here, how long is this taking? 25%. Jeez, and what about the temperature in here? Wait, okay, I see. So because we have accumulated enough water, the water is now actually going upstairs. That is mighty interesting. I wonder if I should expand this with a water reservoir. This would probably not be the worst of ideas. I guess for now I'm just gonna leave it be because we can really use the cold water in order to help cool down our system. Alright, looks like we have built most of the auto sweepers. We're just waiting for my rails to be done as well, which there are just a few portions left to do. Oh, I'm gonna look forward to this. If at the end of the episode we improved our frame rate, I mean, check this. This is just absolutely insane. Ah, okay, well, that is the saving part. I can excuse that. But most of the lag spikes I actually cut out for you, so it's not too agonizing for you. But I have to improve my life as well. Yeah, I'm actually really glad I'm doing that. It might seem excessive for what we have here, but look at that. We have 22 tons of mafic rock, another 7 tons, 11 tons of granite, and it just keeps going like that. Every tile is just covered in tons and tons of material. It will certainly take a while since one rail can only carry like, what was it, 20 kilograms? But it's gonna be a heck of a lot faster than doing the sweeping manually. Alright, that's what I'm talking about. Not everything has finished building just yet, but we do have the line finished leading to the storage, and now the items should be able to flow without any issues. Oh yeah, this is absolutely phenomenal. What happened? People are confined. Oh man, I need to automate this. I know guys. Don't worry, I actually already have a plan on how to do it. We have another auto sweeper over. Are you serious? You are already overheating. You have barely done anything and you're just 60 degrees. Ah, of course. Well, maybe it wasn't a good idea to build them out of lead. I could just have chosen iron. I would just have been as well. Honestly, usually they shouldn't heat up too quickly, so I think, well, let's still do it out of iron. But there we go, all my items are coming down. Let's see them actually go into the storage. Some of them are gonna be particularly high temperature, and I'm hoping my water can actually take it. This should be heating up a lot. At the moment, it's almost, no, it's actually 40 degrees in certain spots. But there we go, new items incoming, and we are now just gonna stack those up. And you know, eventually once those are stacked up, we should get a whole new level of frame rate. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not gonna be happy if at the end of this episode we still don't have our frame rate improved. Now, it probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense to just wait and watch this, since getting rid of 20 kilograms a second might not be that efficient. Actually, we could go ahead and improve on that. Let's just drag a second line like so. And once that is built, we are going to be doubly as fast. Another chute right there. Beautiful. I think it might be Harold here. Are you Harold? Yes, you are absolutely amazing. Just picking up all the items, bringing them to the storage, and even feeding the stone hatchlings. An absolute hero. And of course, they're gonna take their sweet time to build the rails. So I think, gosh darn it, this frame rate would be killing the series. That's why I'm doing it now. We need to improve on this before I go crazy. Oh, ow. You bastard. Ah, come on, Rocket, return already so we can wrap this up. Ah, this is so devastating always. Freaking meteor showers, I just hate them. But at least we got our rocket safely back with a couple of items. Especially the fullerene, I'm happy about that. I would say it's time to cut this connection, so eventually the items from the right are going down the second line. And all we have to finish is this little part right here. Come on, you can do it. I believe in my dupes, I'm a good dictator. Alright, actually looks like it's been getting a little bit hotter lately. That is absolutely fine. We were starting at like 37 degrees and now we're up to 60 degrees. But that is good. If we cool off the items a little bit, we are not going to dump too much of the heat in the water. This little pool of water is hopefully never going to exceed the, let's say, 60 degrees mark. But we'll have to see. Yes, just a little to go. Finish it. Thank you so much. Okay, that means the second line should now be working and we are doubly as efficient. Perfect. How are we doing down in the cellar? Let me see. That is grown 67% already, so we should be getting something out of that soon. You know, at this point I can barely do anything. This has just made everything much worse, but I'm guessing this is temporary. Holy Moses. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna watch this. I have nothing better to do. This is just unplayable right now. At least the sound pattern here has kind of a positive vibe to it. I like it. Alright guys, we are back. It is actually the next day and I regret everything about this freaking episode. Just everything. Well, first things first, the frame rate did not really improve. I mean, we haven't made substantial progress, but you can see it is a little bit later. I don't know how many hours I've been playing off camera. It has been a crazy and bumpy ride. We certainly collected a whole bunch of items here. We also collected items on the other side. I did have some management issues. Heat management specifically, you can see a bunch of my machines are broken. Naturally, that makes a whole lot of sense since we are sending through tons and tons of hot items, and well, that's just how it goes at the moment. We, fortunately enough, do not need these machines right now. I also took myself the liberty of deconstructing a whole bunch of things. You can see now also the atmosphere is getting a little bit thinner since we are losing all of it to the vacuum. I also ran into several issues. For instance, at some point I ended up with 20 kilograms of sour gas in this place, and I had to make sure that the oil actually stops incoming. So what I did is set this Atmos sensor to 10 kilograms instead of the 15 or so I had it before, and now it's only sending through the oil if we don't have enough sour gas in there. I'm also currently using my petroleum since we have so much oil and petroleum, so I decided to prioritize the petroleum lines. At the moment this is bit 1 and the natural gas generators are set to bit 2. But that is something I want to change again. You can see we are already accumulating tons and tons of natural gas, but that's just the way it's going right now. If we have a look at my reserves, oh, actually we are using them up right now, so that is good. But I'm still gonna use up the second liquid reservoir before I switch back to natural gas. It was just crazy, guys. I thought easy topic, you know, just a little bit of cleaning up. It's gonna be no problem. I don't have to think much for this episode, but dude, this was like the longest recording session. Well, I didn't even record. This was like the longest downtime session I've ever had in this playthrough. I've also installed a whole bunch of transit tubes. I also started tiling up some stuff just because I got so bored. I mean, I did watch like 2.5 movies doing that, but holy cow, it was crazy. Now, I believe we will not be able to end this episode on a happy note. So I'm not gonna be happy at the end of this episode because we will not have improved the frame rate substantially. However, I can already feel that it is getting better, and my suspicion is that at the moment these lines here, these item lines, are taking away a lot. You might also see that I disconnected all the adjacent auto sweepers because, well, they weren't being used to their maximum efficiency, right? They can pick up like 1,000 kilograms. And if we have them running all the time, they only pick up 20 kilograms each, but still use the full amount of power they would otherwise and heat up all the time. So as you can see now, if we only have one auto sweeper active per line, then at least we get 80 kilograms in the joint. I'm also still doing some manual sweeping as per usual, and we should have our food situation under control. It does look a little bit dire, but actually we're doing absolutely fine. My cook Lola is just going for it. You can see she's also crafting frost buns, and if we have a look at that, we have plenty and plenty of sleet wheat grains. So we can just go ahead and do that the entire freaking time. Now, I wonder in terms of dormancy, we will have a dormancy in 19 cycles approximately with this cool slush geyser. So probably that's going to be the point where we use up all of that. However, the dormancy isn't that long. Yeah, the active period is substantially longer than the dormancy, but it's still going to be like 30 cycles where we don't produce any more water. So I do believe sincerely that we need a buffer in between this. So that is definitely something I believe I want to go ahead and add. We're just going to do something like that, and we're going to set up a liquid reservoir. So that should be going here. I'm actually going to set up 2 of those. And then instead of just going straight over, we want to join the liquid reservoir, join the second liquid reservoir, and then we're going to go back up and join the line. That should be fine. Now, I do need to be careful. I have so many build commands going on at the moment that I want to speed this up substantially. Right now, the way I have set this up, we only have a small little buffer and then the rest is going up into my system. But I want to make sure that I can sustain the sleet wheat farm as we go through the dormancy phase. So there we go. Please everyone build. And of course, this is also getting on my nerves all the time. I have to disable this mod entirely now. I mean, my duplicants can almost not get stuck at this point any longer. And of course, I'm just gonna keep on building the walls up. That was actually another suggestion in the comments section. You're capable of reducing the frame rate if you get rid of all the atmosphere, replacing them with tiles. I mean, most of the area we don't need to be out in the open. It can just be covered by tiles. As long as we have materials, that is probably a good idea. All right, there we go. We set up the buffer storage. That is good. Let's go ahead and disconnect this. And we can also get rid of these 2 pipes. Or, wait, what? Wow, that was extremely confusing. Like, Turner did that absolutely immediately there. That is fine. Let's go ahead and pick everything up that still needs picking up. That is good. And we should now be filling our buffer storage instead of just wasting all the materials. What else did I notice? My oil is working perfectly. At some point, I actually ran out of water. So there was this water line that was emptying itself. However, that was because of the cool steam vent being in its dormancy phase. I mean, the frame rate is definitely improving, but until I am finished, it's certainly gonna take another 5 hours or so. I mean, I've been playing for 3 or 4 hours in between the last and this clip, and you know, you saw how much progress we made. Oh man. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is probably make this a shorter episode, just, you know, showing you what I've done in order to improve the FPS, but the final results you will get to see in the next episode when we hopefully have made substantially more progress. However, just so you know what I'm doing the entire time, we can still do a few things. I'm just gonna add another layer of granite tiles to the mix. And despite the fact that tiles also transfer heat, having vast amounts of gases exchanging heat is much worse for the processing and therefore also the frame rate. Every now and then, the auto sweepers in the vacuum specifically do get overheated. That is absolutely no problem. It's absolutely normal. I just deconstruct it, give it a high priority, and then we want to exchange it because every time you rebuild something, it actually gets reset to 45 degrees. So we have all that time again until it heats up. If you just repair it, it's gonna sustain the heat level and you're never gonna get out of this vicious cycle. I mean, for you it might not be extremely obvious, but I can feel every little bit in improvement, especially the bigger lag spikes. They tend to be less frequent at this point. But what can I say? I wanted to do another episode this week, so I think I'm just gonna upload this as an attempt to improve my FPS episode, and then the next time we can hopefully, as we are finishing this, work on another contraption. But despite the fact that there is not a lot of content in this episode, this really took me a long time and it was an important step. Otherwise, I would probably have given up on the world since it was, you know, starting to really be agonizing. Maybe another thing we can already get started with is removing all of these. Yeah, just remove everything. Actually, what do I have here in the background? Not a lot. Okay, that is actually good. I'm gonna remove everything that I can see here in terms of contraption. So you can go, you can go, you can go. I'm gonna keep all of the cabling just to be sure that this tube axis is still working. And we certainly also want to keep all of the ladders functional. Yes. Unfortunately, this conveyor loader is also overheating. What you gonna do? There we go. Please replace and hurry up with it as well. I mean, other than that, it's actually been going pretty well. We are accumulating the hydrogen again. We have, you know, way too much petroleum. It's just insane how much petroleum we have. Actually, did we use it up by now? Let me see. Yeah, I think at this point we can actually swap the inputs again. So I'm gonna choose these to be bit 1. So they activate the first, and then petroleum should activate at bit 2. So now we're using up the natural gases again. How is it going right here? We have 11 kilograms of sour gas going on at the moment. I believe at some point I actually messed it up a little bit, though. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, there is a pocket of natural gas. Actually, 16.3 grams. Grams. It's not kilograms, so it's actually not that much. But still, that was bothering me. And that was actually because we reached some limits. For instance, this room right here has almost reached the 1000 degrees mark, and therefore sometimes we are not cooling down the coolant anymore. That can result sometimes in a couple of issues. I also made another transit tube axis right here in order to collect all of these materials. As soon as we get rid of those, we should be doing a little bit better. And also at the bottom here, I'm finishing whatever we have left here. Hold the phone. Do you see that? These items are actually not falling, but they are going down with the water. That is absolutely amazing. Yes, guys, thank you very much for taking everything apart. We are gonna ladder you up. Come on. I'm gonna look so forward to when this nightmare is over and we actually have a smooth frame rate again, if that is possible at all. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. already much better. You guys know what to do. You can go, you can leave. What do we have behind here? Conveyor rails. We don't need those either. Yes, you can go, you can go, you can go. Oh, this is gonna be so good. Game, don't drive me insane. Thank you. I want to remove the entirety of this conveyor rail as well. It's time that we start rebuilding and rethinking that. And naturally that means we want to take apart everything. Yes, you can go, you can go. Oh, it's going to be so great. It's going to feel absolutely amazing. No more contraptions just hanging around. We have polluted water in our room, which means, ah man, I'm so glad this actually worked. This means we are not producing enough heat anymore at this point. That is absolutely intriguing. Let me see. Maybe, no, we are still producing steel and steel on the other side. The water is also fine. What's going on? Wait, are we not filling up the petroleum here? This is not good. Not good at all. Yeah, we need to make sure this is heating up again. Maybe we are missing some materials. No, looks like we have everything at our disposal. So that is a little bit weird to me. I have to observe this. Let's create some more iron. 50 crafts. But you see, all of these warning systems can actually be really handy, so you know what's going wrong in your base. Another thing I had to fix is set up a larger gas pump, since the small gas pump can only pump 50 grams a second, and this was a calculated average output of almost 100 grams. So I had to go with the bigger pump. But yeah, now you essentially know what I've been up to all this time. I'm just gonna keep going with this as much as I can and then present you with the results at the beginning of the next episode, which is hopefully gonna be an absolute success in terms of frame rate improvements. I bet it is gonna be, especially once we removed all of the auto sweepers again here on the top. And gosh, this is going so on my nerves. I'm gonna disable the mod. But yeah, you see, we still have tons and tons to do. Also, our food situation should be under control since we have all of these sleet weeds ready to be processed into frost buns. But yeah, I would say with that out of the way, we are actually gonna wrap it up for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great time and see you in a hopefully frame rate friendlier episode the next time. Bye bye.